beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace? Search for a declaration?
Then download the Jamaica Customs mobile app today. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
12 p.m.
Good afternoon, it's Friday, February 6th. Thanks for joining us for CVM News at noon. I'm Giovanni Dennis. We begin with the latest on the Julian Syla trial. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is defending its decision to accept a manslaughter plea from former Member of Parliament for St. Mary Western, Julian Syla, in the relation to the killing of his wife on November 10, 2023. According to a press release from the DPP's office, Syla said in a written statement that he and his wife had an argument which got physical. He said that during the argument, she blamed him, as she always did, for the death of their young son. The couple's 2-year-old son, Justin, drowned in 2017 in the swimming pool at their St. Andrew home. The child had been home with Syla at the time. According to Syla's statement, during the argument, she hurled expletives at him and made derogatory statements about his sister and mother, which he found to be provocative. He said the final straw was when she made a comment about their children. He says he then lost control and discharged his weapon in her direction. According to Syla, he had not intended to hurt or kill his wife. He said he decided to hide what he had done when he thought about his children losing both parents. According to the office of the DPP, they decided to accept his plea to manslaughter because the murder case against him is circumstantial. They said there is no evidence about what happened at the house when Melissa Syla was shot and killed. They also said they had no evidence to rebut his defense of provocation. And we'll have more on this in our midday live interview segment. In the meantime, a joint select committee established to review Jamaica's Domestic Violence Act has resumed its deliberations, with lawmakers reaffirming their commitment to a thorough and timely review of the legislation. The committee has vowed to complete its work in the next parliamentary year, which gets underway next week. Addressing the sitting on Thursday, Gender Affairs Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange urged the committee members to ensure that the review process results in a stronger and more responsive law.
Together, we can reshape the narrative, not just of law, but of safety, of dignity, of healing for every Jamaican who is affected by the monster of domestic violence. I look forward to our discussions in the upcoming months as we work swiftly to complete the review during this new fiscal year, the coming fiscal year. I invite each member of this committee to honor the survivors who came before us by refusing to settle for anything less than real change.
In the meantime, Senate Leader Kamina Johnson-Smith urged the committee to ensure that any amendments made to the act must be meaningful and impactful, stressing that the changes should bring tangible protection and relief to victims.
Madam Chair, this is our third time at this, so I'm hoping that it will be the charm. I very much appreciate your emphasis on the word swift, to not only ensure that we undertake comprehensive work that is properly informed by the practical side. You have raised the questions as to what is working operationally in the system, what needs to be fixed. And I think it's important for us to recognize that that this is a part of the intent. It is not to legislate only in form, but to ensure that the changes which we make to the legislation are real and impactful and fundamentally change the treatment of domestic violence in Jamaica, as well as provide a platform for the cultural change that must accompany the effectiveness of any legislative approach that addresses human behavior such as this.
In other news, all 25 accused in the Clansman gang trial has been ordered to be immediately medically tested. Now, the disclosure was made that one of the men had contracted a contagious illness. Now, Dr. Paul Robinson, who is also one of the accused, made the revelation in court, prompting the adjournment of the case until Monday, February 9.
I need to speak to justice. The words of Dr. Paul Robinson, one of the 25 accused in the Clansman gang trial. Dr. Robinson appeared visibly bothered and repeatedly attempted to address the bench just before the court adjourned for lunch. Presiding Judge Justice Dale Palmer reminded Robinson that he'll be given the time to speak at the appropriate stage of the proceedings. Despite this, Robinson continued speaking, prompting further caution from the court. Counsel standing in for Dr. Robinson, attorney at law Kemar Robinson, addressed the court, explaining that another accused, Travis Drummond, may have contracted a serious contagious illness, a diagnosis made by Dr. Robinson. In response, Justice Palmer ordered that all the accused men receive immediate medical attention and that the court be promptly informed of the results. The judge also directed that the accused be relocated to a different housing facility, pending further updates of their medical situation. The trial will resume on Monday, February 9. Dr. Robinson is charged with knowingly providing medical treatment to members of the gang and failing to report those incidents to the police. The other men are charged under the anti-gang law with being members of a criminal organization. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
The Jamaica Medical Doctors Association says it is closely monitoring conditions at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, even as the government promises improvements. President of the JMDA, Dr. Renee Badro, says they will be monitoring the ministry closely.
We had a meeting with the Minister of Health and Wellness and his team on Tuesday, and we discussed the matters concerning Cornwall, and he had given a promise to the JMDA that there would be an increase in the bed capacity and the dome would be present for additional beds by the end of February. So we will hold the ministry at its word.
Now, a Hanover family has lost their house and possessions after a fire gutted their dwelling in Sandy Bay, Hanover on Tuesday. Now, one of the occupants, Justina Smith, told our newsroom that the house is owned by her son and that the fire destroyed all of their belongings. Acting Assistant Superintendent in charge of the Hanover Fire Department, Emilia Somerville, says since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the parish has been seeing an increase in house fires.
Give God thanks, you're alive. The house last year, but this is my son making this. And she said, okay, mommy. I said to him, O'Neill, why don't you just set up the garage? And then he say, Mommy, would you come in it? I'm say, of course, because it instead we live at somewhere else and we know comfortable because at once it's over there. We live at one concrete house over there, right? You don't have no door. We have to put something at the door we are in, right? It can fall long and anybody can just shove it like that, you know. But give thanks. Somebody can say, well, you can stay in that house until better come.
No one is above the law. That, according to the National Integrity Action, which is criticizing Telecommunications Minister Darrell Vaz for his response to the Auditor General's report earlier this week, which was criticizing the government's procurement breaches following Hurricane Melissa. And we now take a break here on CVM's News at Noon, but stay with us for a live interview segment when we come back.